thing is going?
Good.
Okay,
The thing is good.
Derek's not here.
Oh, Derek's not.
Derek went to go put pizza in or such.
My apologies for being late. I have been dealing with the shitty-ass Delaware's Juror website.
Oh, did you get a jury summons?
I got a summons for Superior Court.
Fun.
What does that mean / do?
It's a court where they T-pose over people.
Yeah. Let me actually look that up, because with all my health shit, I kind of don't want to go to a place where I risk having to sit down for like 6 hours and not be allowed to go to the bathroom.
Got it.
No, you see, Tom, to just get immediately kicked off the jurors list, you say, I support Antifa heavily.
No. Okay, here, Tom, here's what you do. You open with, hello, jury, members of the court. I would like to take this moment to talk about the concept known as juror nullification. And then if you're not held in contempt of court, the lawyers will stop you, and you will be asked to leave. You may be arrested, though.
Yeah, there's a decent chance you will get arrested.
I prefer to skip the arrest part and just say, hey, I have IBS, am a student, and can't drive. Which I'm hoping will be enough.
I got out on just being a student, so more than likely, you'll probably still have to go.
Just send them your schedule. And they'll
Yeah,
go, okay,
I don't.
You have a school schedule.
I don't
I got
have a school
just saying I
schedule
never
of
received
variety
it
that.
because they don't have an official way they send it, other than through the mail.
Romans, countrymen, I have succumbed to the siren call of pizza and stuck it in my mouth directly out of the oven. And now my tongue is pain.
You utter fool!
So, Tom, I want to Tom, I want to call back.
He turned into a fucking old man ghost from the like the 50s.
That was such a good noise. Wait, I wish I wasn't talking over that noise. We should get a recording of that noise and make it into a sound for a soundboard. I just hope I wasn't talking over it. I was trying to ask Tom something.
I'm back.
It's so good.
So, Tom, I want to call back to an earlier conversation that we were having before you got on. I'm very curious. So, you're back in ancient Greece, and the Greek gods are real. You know about gunpowder. Which god do you present this information to?
If any.
Ancient Greece?
Yes. This would be Hellenistic Greece.
Okay, so not Mike and so the one we actually know some shit about.
Yes, just to keep stuff simple.
Okay, I feel like if I have gunpowder, my most reasonable option is honestly to just window slam Ares.
Okay.
Like, just fucking go for it, bro. At the same time, because even though Ares is often depicted as a coward, he doesn't, like, on a purely moral standpoint, he seems to be one of the better of the Greek gods.
Which is fucked up.
I would consider presenting it to Hades, but I don't know how to get there, and I also don't think he would be interested. Persephone might be.
Don't tell me what I'm interested and not interested in.
What are you talking about?
So my answer, Tom, is I think the most destructive, and that was Aphrodite.
Okay, listen, giving it to Ares just makes war more violent. You are talking about actively ending the world. What
Now kiss, shotgun cocks, or else.
What if we went back to ancient Greece and gave gunpowder to that goddess that Tumblr made up?
Okay, I don't think we're ready for that conversation.
Wait, hold on.
Is that the god of furries?
No.
There was some weird thing where they came up with a goddess of beauty who was supposedly a daughter of Hades.
No,
There's already a goddess of beauty, though.
Yeah, but they came up with one who wasn't morally repugnant.
All the gods were supposed to be morally repugnant.
Hades wasn't, though.
Hestia.
Yeah.
Hades was Other than he, kidnapped his wife.
So
That
the
was-
tricky part about that is that the ancient Greek word for marry and kidnap are actually the same word.
And actually, Zeus said, "Yeah, go ahead, marry my daughter."
Anyway,
At the same time, there's evidence
most
at
of
the
them
time that it
are
was.
supposed to be morally repugnant. It's supposed to be
Actually-
just like a messed up family.
I'm actually not entirely certain that's correct. I think in the times they were not great, but not.
They were
They're
not
just human.
They're human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
They're like
granted,
human. They're human 2.0. They're so much more violent.
It's just
they're
such
human
a
in all
different.
the bad ways.
Have you not
but-
seen Jerry Springer?
It's just such a like.
Wait, shut up.
different
I want you to
culture.
tell me, in terms of how he would act, would Zeus even stand out compared to the average 4chan user?
Well, yeah.
I don't
gets
think
laid.
he'd. I don't think he'd stand out in the
Nice.
in your standard Murray court or anything.
Like.
Anyway,
let's be real
Hero
here.
Squad.
Let's be real here. Zeus would be the alpha incel. He's actually touched grass. Anyway, so here in Hero Squad.
Let me go to quotes.
The Vaqueros have deposited a very scared covert ops Iron Legion member, arm missing, legs broken, several bullet wounds peppering his body. He is on the verge of death, but still very much alive because Green will not let him die. Sal Jr. is being taken to the medical wing. Sal Sr. is going back to his office, the crack shots following him. You've been given a pump rifle. What do you guys do?
I fire the pump rifle in the air.
I think just one of you has been given a
You have to
pump
get it
rifle.
from Captain
and-
Dumont.
yeah.
Who is currently in this scene? I know the captain is there. Are Avery and Chivalry here too?
Yes. Anyone who wants
Yes.
to be here is here because they can... Well, Avery has to be here. He teleported everyone.
Okay, so but this is everyone except Propulsion and Bill.
Everyone except
My
Propulsion
characters-
and Bill. I'm gonna see you guys roll up, and the candy shop just has quartz in it, and he lets you guys know what happened.
Okay.
The Vaquero signal. We don't have one of those.
I'm honestly assuming that Quartz will, like, well, what does Quartz do when he's stressing about bats? I have this image of him making brownies.
He has currently formed basically a sandcastle out of quartz particulate because he hasn't gotten to the start of his new schedule yet.
So what I'm hearing is he's building an enchanted castle so he can start wooing away some of Mr. President's soldiers from their duties.
Hey, Mr. Quartz. Can I take some of this dust to use as a candy ingredient? I'm gonna say this with like a little dustpan in my hand, like getting ready to scoop it if he says yes.
He waves you on. Absolutely, it's fine.
I'm just gonna scoop it into the little dustpan and go start filling a mason jar somewhere with it.
Just have a jar.
Mason jars.
All right. So
Well, if I remember correctly, his dust has like nullifying properties, so I
It
could.
does not
maybe
say
do
what
something with that?
Correct. You'll find out later. Okay, so we're gonna cut to the flotilla gang. You have several options. You guys found out from Charlie that, well, Sal Jr. does something with dowsing rods, which threw up a flag. You have an Iron Legion member you can interrogate, or you could just take a look around, do some scouting, or you could just leave. You could just leave. That all of those are
All right, guys, I'm ready to go home.
Earth home.
Carrier's just gonna walk up to the Iron Legion member. Hello. How are you?
Am I being detained? No, wait, yeah, of course I'm being detained. Yeah, sorry, reflex.
Sir, you're being detained!
Stop resisting!
If you finish that sentence, I was going to pistol whip you with my cannon.
Yeah, that tracks. All right.
Wait, which Iron Legion guy is this? Did I miss
He's
something?
the one that was doing the heavy metal poisoning talent. There were 3 covert ops. You guys killed 2 last session, and then there was one that got away, but the vaqueros ran him down because they were massively faster than him.
I don't remember this at all.
They were the ones doing the iron spikes on like.
The blood.
Captain Dumont wasn't there, therefore the scene never actually happened.
Oh, fair.
I'm not actually role-playing that, but yes. There's good explanation for it as any.
You might have stepped away when it was happening.
That's possible. Okay, carry on then. Don't bother.
So, I'm just gonna squat down. Like, is he like on like?
He is
huddled on the ground.
He is just on the ground, legs broken, one arm missing. He couldn't stand up if he wanted to.
I'm just gonna squat down and like look at him and go, so we got 2 options here. Option 1. I hand you over to Sal Sr. and you get to experience what it looks like when a father has just had his son attacked and almost killed. Or you tell us right now what the fuck you're doing here.
Let me make a stability check for him real fast. Make an intimidation check for me, Bob. Gain
Can I assist him?
gain 2 bonus dice just for everything you said there. Anyone who wants to assist can. Like, honestly, just standing
I will assist. I will assist with my, what is that? 8 hard dice.
Alright, Bob adds 1 dice. Mr. President is currently distracted. He just raises 1 eyebrow.
And chivalry assists despite the fact that he has no charm or command.
No.
Either way, chivalry will walk up behind this and he'll start, he'll take Fraggle Rock out and start polishing it.
The vaqueros are also going to assist. Only like 2 of them have anything worth noting, though. So gain like 5 bonus dice.
Okay. Does he have any gobble dice? Because this puts me over 10.
He has 2 6s. That was his roll. If you beat 2 6s, you got him.
2 8s.
All right. He's going to realize he is surrounded by a number of unknown talents. He doesn't know what. He figures, might as well go for it. He's just gonna say, "Yeah, I was just given a picture and instructions to kill. Picture's right in my coat pocket. There's a little bit of blood on it. I will tell you anything. I just look. We're not told much. We don't really question orders.
Hey, Charlie, can you see lie on this guy?
Charlie has actually agreed to stay back with Quartz, so neither of my characters are in this scene because he was going to keep him updated on how what's-his-face was doing.
Bets.
I'm just going to pull out the picture, look at it for a second, and go, so...
Wait. Make a perception check for me if you're looking at the picture.
Oh, goody.
Sound does the Pneuma Rifle make when it fires?
It sounds like a train whistle going off.
Actually, wrong, because we're going to shoot it in this guy's leg, right?
Hang on.
3 8s.
So, while this is an older picture and the person in there is thinner than he currently is, this is actually definitely a picture of Sal Jr., not Sal Sr. They're straight up trying to kill the young one for some reason.
Well, I figured that when they attacked him and not the older one.
Yeah, but they do look almost identical.
True. So, how long you been working
Tremendous!
for it? How long you been working for a band of roving murderers and maniacs?
He's gonna be a bit confused by that description. Just go, I haven't been working for them. No, we've been together since the start of the Southern Campaign. I mean, we all banded together to survive. I mean,
and what, pray tell, is the Southern Campaign?
make a streetwise check for me, actually, before you ask.
That is mind correct.
Yes.
Mundo, 1, 2, 3.
Can I roll streetwise?
Actually, Mr. President.
No, let me roll, please, Sam.
Yeah, go for it. But I forgot
I'll
Mr.
take my
President
willpower.
is here and listening. He's not preoccupied in another scene.
In the background, there's a large train. There's a loud train whistle, and Captain Dumont cries,
Just
"Tremendous!"
Just 4 tens.
Okay, so
Glad you're having fun back there, buddy.
Chris, you realize none of the group really has a ton of experience in the bog, but the way he's speaking, you can draw parallels to like historical documents and stuff you've heard of. Pieces begin filling in, and you can see, even if you don't know what's in those dark spots in your cognition, you can kind of see the shape of them. You remember a very little tidbit of history you heard, I think in character earlier in the session, where the Iron Legion didn't start out as a raider gang. Other gangs forced them out of their bunkers, and that's when they really started to fight. This guy was probably one of the people who were content to just try and ride things out in their bunker full of food and ammo. And then they got forced out by, the Caimans, the mad cannibals, or the Ripperoots, the weird people who tried to make cybernetics work in the flooded district. The Southern Campaign is probably what they referred to as, the very early, just general Fight Club nature of just gang warfare in the Southern Bog early on in the city.
Got it. Okay. I explained that.
Ah, I see. So you were with them before, and then when... this is the wrong character to be doing this interrogation with. I really wish I had sent propulsion.
Okay.
Here. Oh.
When are they coming? This president's going to just use hyper charm.
Hey, infosec. Before you ask that, just a quiet infosec reminder that they don't know that we know there's a big raid.
You guys currently
I
are
said when
isolated
more.
because there are no...
When are more people coming? Right? Because we can assume more assassons are going to come. That sounds more likely.
All right. He can't beat he can't beat any of your social rolls. So.
I'm still gonna roll.
Go for
Wait,
it.
no, I can't roll any dice. Never mind. Don't bother. I just can't straight
Pose
can't.
on him.
Just T-pose on him.
Gonna think. Oh God. There should be a raid coming tonight. Should be one in about 6 hours after that. Then one 3 hours from that. Then there should be 2 back to back, and then it's gonna hold off for about 8
Sam!
hours. And then there's gonna be an interceptor. We're intercepting everything in the meantime.
Why are you raiding so much this place? How can they restock all their stuff within 6 hours?
They work really fast here.
So, question about you lot.
It's kind of just counterproductive, though.
I mean, this isn't...
Why not just take over the land?
So, that is the idea.
So-
This isn't raiding to subsist. This is, from what I gather, we need something here, I think.
Oh, what? What do you think that you need?
I don't know. I would guess, there's stuff here. I think we want it. So I thought we
Okay.
were just maybe going to take over. That's the impression I was getting.
Do you know who's going to come in all the different raids? And which raid's going to be the biggest?
Well, I know Jerry's on a raid, and he said his was pretty big, but they got a Mark IV armor, so that's pretty cool.
Who's Jerry? Sam?
No, you don't know Jerry. Jerry's just a generic guy. You get the impression Jerry's just a friend of this guy who he talks to.
It's just this guy,
It's a name that ends in airy.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Now, do you know when Jerry's raid is supposed to arrive?
6 hours.
Okay, so
Definitely
he sent
not
his
the
big
raid
ones.
you guys are thinking of.
He said Mark IV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A Mark IV.
Which one's Mark IV? I don't see that one.
It wasn't on your list. You guys
Gotcha.
don't have any details on Mark IVs.
Propulsion.
I would like to take this opportunity.
Propulsion.
I would like to-
Mark IVs, but he's not here. What's up, Derek?
I would like to take this opportunity to remind the rest of my fellow adventurers that knickknacks and curiosities is a thing, but I can't use it for myself.
Okay.
So
You know, I had an idea. I don't know if you're going to be okay with it. Do you want me to message you, Derek, first?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm just gonna point at the Iron Legion guy and go, so all of these raids back to back to back, how do they have enough? How do you have enough people to do back to back to back? 2, enough people to do any damage with that many raids back to back to back?
Well, it's not about doing damage. It's keeping them here, keeping them from trading. We're only sending maybe 10 guys at a time.
Oh, I see. So I can kill them all in one shot. Got it.
Probably.
Good to know. Thank you for your help. I'm gonna throw you in jail now. Or kill you, depending on the laws of the land.
You can see the sovereign citizen legal arguments bubbling up as you say jail. He's fighting it down.
You know you're not a sovereign citizen here, right?
I am a free traveler.
Alright, you finished.
Hang on.
You know those rules
Hang
don't
on.
apply when you attempt to assassinate someone of a
is he
foreign
wearing
government,
is
right?
he wearing a uniform?
No, he's wearing standard clothes that blend in with the.
He's a gorilla. We can shoot him.
Oh wait,
By the laws
Is he-
of war, we can just shoot him out of hand.
is he wearing a Mark II?
Yeah, it's underneath of his clothes.
So free Mark II?
It's missing the arm blade and heavily damaged from the back arrows, pumping him full of an ungodly number of bullets.
So portion of a Mark II?
Yeah, you got a portion.
We could just take the Mark II and him up and analyze them in the science lab of the Spirit of the Unknown and see if we can come up with a countermeasure or something.
Okay,
How long does he
he's a
need to?
sovereign citizen, then just go ahead, do the deed.
How long do you need to hold him aboard the Spirit for him to become a member of the crew?
It's funny, I just asked him that if he wanted me to use all of my persuasion and endless to make this guy a loyal person.
Doesn't work that way. It's volunteer only.
We also
Got it.
probably shouldn't use charm powers on these guys.
So, Sam, I'd like to make a brawling attack against him using my cannon.
Okay.
Yeah, when you brought up pistol whipping, how big is the cannon?
I'm gonna.
I think I posted a picture of what a 40mm cannon looks like.
I'm gonna
Why
say
would-
it has go last and +2 attack levels because I can't fucking fathom.
Why brawling and not melee?
Because brawling is melee.
Well, there's melee weapon skills, and that would technically be more. Actually, it would be more melee weapon skills. I was more thrown off by the idea of punching someone with an artillery piece.
Hey, I told him if he finished a sovereign citizen statement, I would pistol whip him with my cannon.
Alright, so make a melee weapons check, actually, sorry.
Well, I don't want to kill him. So roll.
Wait, I thought we
2
just said we were gonna kill him.
No, I want him to know what he's done and why he
So-
deserved the pistol whip.
Take, a penalty dice. We'll say this is as non-lethal as you can make it.
2 9s.
You just body check him with the butt of your gun. You hear the sound of, metal collapsing, crushing a can of, a soda can. And then a few snaps of ribs. As goes, I do not
You know what you
recognize
did!
The tyranny of the Geneva Corporation.
What the fuck is the Geneva Corporation?
Hit him again.
What are you talking about?
Do you want to make a streetwise check to see into the madness?
No.
I will see into the madness.
Okay, so in sovereign citizen terminology, they're big fans of word magic, where if you say something is something, it kind of means that. Hence why they call the United States government a corporation. And they...
Wait, aren't you part of the, governing body of the Iron Legion, which is also a corporation, since they're having you go get resources and trying to consume more resources than they actually need?
Okay, listen. I am an individual. I am not beholden to the group. We merely all act in our own interests that happen to align towards the same...
So that happen to align and using more resources than you need?
Sam, 5 10s.
For the melee check?
I want to break this man mentally.
I'm punching him in the face this time.
Okay, so he's trying to explain how they're all individuals, but they work together, but they're totally not a group. Because
I'd like to use my hyper charm so that he has to forever remember that the Iron Legion is a corporation.
You probably shouldn't do that. If
Don't
they
they
ever
just, like,
find out that we did
explode
that to him,
You hypercharm them?
yeah, it could be very bad for us.
Well, he's part of Iron Legion. Oh,
so
yeah.
he's still ranting as
Someone punches his face in.
I have
Bob,
7
are you
body,
doing-
by the
are
way,
you
so it's
doing
all killing.
non-lethal or oh
Nope.
Okay, this man dies as Karenade just fucking crushes his skull with the howitzer.
Well,
No, I am punching him.
Oh,
Just my fist.
that width is still high enough to snap his neck. He didn't have
Yeah.
that much health.
Just
Crack his skull like an egg.
wow. That was,
All right.
I've never seen someone bludgeon someone to death with a howitzer.
First
But I
time for
guess-
everything.
First for everything.
So let's go report to the Salves what we learned.
Well, how about, do you want to wear the armor? I think the armor would be good on you.
I
Captain
have
Dumont
crushed
will-
the armor.
Captain Dumont will spring into frame and say, "My friends, if I could impose upon you, I will take this off your hands and perhaps find us a secret weapon against our vile enemies."
That sounds
Wait.
good.
Wait a moment, lads. Chivalry kind of raises a hand and says, I've seen this once before. And this... You know how I used to be goofier, complete creature Avery's?
No.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Thank you, Karenade.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Wait, why did you say no? Chris, you were there when it got fixed.
No, just being facetious.
Chivalry will give you a real filthy look, and say, all right, this panned out once, and I came up with it when I was a Hellion, so I'm recalcitrant to do it again, but it was quite helpful. Sam, what do I have to roll to find a soda can?
Roll perception with 1 penalty dice.
Is he?
Jose drops out of the sky and just goes, "No!" and then jumps back to the scar.
If he can't find it, can I utilize Supply Locker
Yes,
to
you
have
can.
Captain Dumont
You absolutely
finish drinking
can.
a can of Coke?
Okay,
Captain Dumont summons a
perception.
can of RC Cola.
I could also have a can just airdrop in. Just
No,
a soda
I
can
have
airdrop
only
in.
gotten to use Supply Locker once.
I will say Chivalry did roll 2 7s.
That's not enough to find it naturally, but Supply Locker does.
Yep. So Captain Dumont will chug a can of RC Cola, give a tremendous burp, and then sort of, you know how you kick the little paper footballs. He'll do that with the can right to Chivalry.
Chivalry will gladly accept it, but have a moment of fucking befuddlement asking, how did you know I needed one of these?
I just wanted you to recycle it. You needed it?
Chivalry will think about that
Don't
and then
think too hard.
move over to the shattered body. Take out Fraggle Rock, cut a few locks of hair, and put them into the soda can. Which he will then. Are there any walls nearby?
Yeah, there's plenty of walls.
So Chivalry will go stand up against a wall, take the reliquary out of the puppet hole, put the soda can into it, and walk back to the group, kind of patting his hands clean, like, all right, we can continue.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
All back to the first session I was in. Fuck yeah.
nice.
Okay. You guys also, I'm gonna say salvages Mark II. It's in pieces. There's no hydraulic fluid left. The arm blade is gone. The armor is torn to pieces in some parts. It looks like a grenade has gone off in this man's chest. You see the black vaquero come up. Black just straight up says, "Yeah, sorry about that. That one was me." It looks like if you guys hit this with enough penetrating explosive, you can actually rupture the servo fluid tanks.
That by itself is good to know.
With how big and clunky these things are, you'd think they're a lot stronger.
Well, this is a Mark II. This is actually just it looks more like those exosuits they're making for construction workers now, where it's just a few bands and a few a few straps and a few external hydraulics.
Those things are still really durable though.
Yeah, these are pretty
But
durable.
not really
The Vaqueros
against
hard.
high-powered gunfire.
You guys never saw Black fire his gun. He gestures to some of the nearby crack shots, asking for an okay to fire a shot. They give him a nod. He summons his gun to his hand, fires it, and it's like an RPG explosion when it hits.
How come you never used that against me?
You caught him off guard.
I was a bit too mad to use it. I have to be a bit calm to use this.
That was also a very wild thing you did to him. Also, while we're talking about the strength of materials,
Also,
Avery.
wait, Chivalry wasn't even there.
No, this is Avery talking.
Yeah, but Avery wasn't there
Also
when I did the fight either.
Do you honestly think, considering that Avery and Bill are friends, do you honestly think that Bill would not turn the story of winning that bet into a 3-hour anecdote?
The man has a point.
That's fair.
I'm
So
sure
Avery
people
will-
asked, "Hey Bill, how did you get fucking rich?"
So Avery asks, how can we expect all of their armor to be about this sturdy, or?
Honestly, considering this was hidden under clothes and the Mark IIIs we saw look like fucking mech suits, I'd say these are a significant downgrade from what we will be fighting.
All right, well, Captain Dumont is going to abscond with it while everybody else is talking and take it and the Pneuma Rifle up to the science lab, where I would like to spend the next however long performing strange alchemies, pouring things into beakers, looking at things under microscopes, none of which actually has anything to do with them, but by the end, I'll have analyzed them.
Wait, is it Captain Dumont who does the analysis, or your engineer?
Can be either.
Oh,
Neat.
Derek, I do want to say the Pneuma Rifle does use ammunition. You're going to start with 60 air pellets. We're going to say you started with 61 because you fired off one, but you have 60 left. It has a clip size of 4. It takes a full round to reload.
I figure I'm either going to analyze it and figure out a way to basically add it to Captain Dumont's options power-wise, or I'm going to add it to the supply locker and have it be a named thing that can come out of the supply locker.
Okay.
I have this beautiful image of Captain Dumont muzzle loading a daisy.
Ooh. Ooh.
So, the Pneuma Rifle, you can tell the
You need me to roll?
Yeah, actually, because it could change, but You can immediately tell this is going to be a difficult, possibly like multiple part project working on this thing. As soon as you crack it open, you realize parts of this are way more complicated than they first appear.
Okay, so I'm doing both the Pneuma Rifle and Mark II at the same time. It has spray, and I need to roll. Do I roll mind as well?
Yes, you would roll mind
Okay.
plus the research skill, and you'd be looking for 2 sets. Remember, it has spray,
Okay.
yeah, so you're just looking for 2 sets.
Yeah, so that's 5 hard dice plus 5 dice to roll. Number of dice 5. Start to stop. Oh, okay. Do I want width or height?
Height for these.
Okay, then I will do 2 sets of 3 10s.
Okay. So, the Pneuma Rifle has a number of items you would need to have it reliably. You would need to be able to reproduce them, or at least make sure they're in peak maintenance. Because you're gonna leave in supply locker. That kind of implies you're not actively paying attention to it. The Pneuma Rifle, parts of this are a mix of like talent-made technology and pre-awakening technology that's either been somehow reproduced in another place or just somehow maintained. One of the markings on it, it looks like there's like markings from a gang. You kind of hit a wall trying to figure out where they're from before, weirdly enough, one of your crewmates gives you a local tourist guide to what's called the City Mall, and there's a section on a group called the Lurkers, who have some technology similar to this, and it looks like it's an adaptation of their designs. A poor adaptation, but one nonetheless. You feel like
Look, it works in the flooded district. That's something.
Yeah. You feel like if you can maybe get some, it's like if you can get some feedback on what they did, you'd be able to integrate this a little bit better into the ship, because you'd be able to figure out like you have plenty of materials and tools around your ship. You can, if you knew what you were doing, you'd be able to replace pieces of this pretty easily. But as
Sure, I've got
like,
Duke Edmonton, the Mad's entire workshop stored away somewhere.
yeah. Oh Jesus. But as is, this thing is just, you need like an expert, you think. Until then, this thing's gonna remain kind of a black box.
Okay.
What you can tell immediately though is, let's see here.
Could Mr. President help with his insane intelligence?
Yes, actually, you would be able to. What you can.
I will.
Tell you what. What are some big questions you have about this? Like, do you want to like how to integrate it into the ship? How to like have it readily available?
What I want to do, thinking about it, is I want to give the crew the option to use Pneuma Rifles.
Okay, these things are technically manufacturable. You're gonna need. The main issue is building these things with your current tools would be like trying to build a circuit board at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. It's not that your tools are bad, it's just this thing is a few centuries ahead of anything else you've seen.
That doesn't seem like it should stop Captain Dumont.
It shouldn't, but it's also a few centuries ahead when we had magic.
Okay.
Like, this is full-on Magitech, almost.
Okay, something to work on in spare time.
Yeah. Now, the Mark II, that is much more immediately doable. This is... So, the Mark IIs, you realize pretty much all of these armors are... Chunks of them are made in batches by the looks of it, but each one of them has to be tailored to the user. So, mass producing these things, not gonna be easy. especially if you want them for the crew. The Mark II will be easier than like the Mark IIIs, of course, because there's a lot less to change.
I don't want them for the crew. I want a way to shut them down at a range.
Okay, so Mark IIs, their biggest weakness is that they don't have the full armor plating. These things were made as a direct result of, hey, the armor we're wearing is really bulky and it makes us sitting targets. What do? We lower the amount of armor, we make some armor pieces optional, and we up the servos. So these things have like really high pressure hydraulics, servo systems, but since there's not a lot of armor, they're like a lot of their key mechanisms, while tough and robust, are exposed. Like Black was saying, if you can hit these things with even like a very weak explosive, like an area dice of 1 and like a penetration of 2, if you just do a called shot on any of those servos, that limb is down. No matter how much damage you actually did or not. If you can just take down the servos, the Mark II goes down.
What if they're hit by something within golf
Then you take down all
and
of the
area
servos.
and penetration and radius?
Then yeah, you would still need to. It would be hard to hit all of them. Like, you still need to make sure you're hitting at least one servo. If it has engulf, it would be like a feedback loop where it's like, okay, you damaged one servo. It's like a brown out in a power grid. It's like you make you hit the entire thing. The other servos try and adjust for the shock. Since one's down, they're overpressurized. They fail too. But you're not going to be able to clear out an entire crowd of Mark IIs because you still need to hit that first servo. You might get lucky and knock out an entire group, but you would be getting lucky. There's a high chance that the Mark IIs fail. You can't consistently wipe an entire group with them unless you.
So if
multiple
Charlie
actions.
turned a servo to glass,
So that's a good question. The servo would still work if it were glass. Most of the armor would still work if it were glass. It would just have a much lower tensile strength and might break on its own if the armor is pushed. It would
How would
also remove the need for penetration on the attack.
is it purely mechanical? Like, is there no power going through it?
There is no power. It is purely mechanical.
Okay. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, the Gear Boys stay away from electronics if they can help it.
That actually makes sense. Yeah.
Case in point, Trigor does basic electronics, and he was about to have a mental breakdown the first time you guys met him.
Mm-hmm. And he was summoning devils the next time, if I remember correctly.
No,
Or is
the
That
church
he just
wrapped
was
him.
one.
The church wrapped him up in. He just always has been a devil.
Yeah.
Church
Oh,
wrapped-
that's what I was remembering.
Yeah, the church wrapped him in a wire cage to try and exorcise him. They thought he was just giving him a gift.
I mean, it's not no surprise he's confused. Devils are real, but the square root of -1 is still imaginary.
Yeah. Yeah, shit's
Fucking
wild.
electro engineering.
Other things that mess with the Mark II. You notice that you can't get any info on the arm blade. So I can't give you anything there. Turning it to glass won't work. Targeting the servos is a good option. You notice that the armor plates, when they move, there is occasionally a very brief gap in the armor. If you how does this mechanic work? Hold on. If you target them while they're attacking, if you target the arms or legs and you match the width of whatever roll they're making, their armor rating is halved. But you need to be in melee combat for that to work, because you have to physically work your either fist or weapon into the gaps of their armor. That one's not as useful, but it's a trick you could potentially use. final weakness is this one's harder, but if you can just destroy the heavy armor, all of it, the suit uses that for a lot of its structural support. You might cause some mechanical failures that way. I think that's all you can learn from the Mark IIs. At least with what you have right now.
I've been muted this whole time, haven't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, fortunately, not much of what I said was particularly important. How much time did that all take?
A few hours.
Okay.
Oh, and I guess we're back at the shop because he would have had to be on a ship for that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Did you guys want to talk to Sal before you headed out, or dowsing rod?
I mean, I was going to just walk up to Sal Jr. and go, all right, so this is what we learned from the asshole that tried to kill you.
Okay. He's just gonna nod and go, yeah, not too much we weren't already expecting, if I'm being honest.
Good to hear.
All right.
I killed him because, well...
No, yeah, I understand completely. All right,
Were you listening into the conversation? I don't think you understand why I killed him.
We've tried to interrogate them. They're never told anything useful.
Oh, no. He just kept spouting sovereign citizen stuff.
Yeah, they don't send out the smart ones to do field work. Anyway,
yeah.
I gotta go find some medical supplies. He takes out a dowsing rod and begins working his way over.
Jerry was his friend, right?
Yeah, it was Jerry. That was what he said.
Wasn't he the one that Avery did puppet arms to, or is that his father?
I'm gonna find Jerry and send him to him.
That's what I was gonna do too.
You did do puppet arms on him. Sal Jr. is surprisingly hardy. He is back on his feet. He's not at full strength, but he's not laying down. He's not taking a break.
Okay.
Well, up top. I'm glad we had similar ideas there.
Well, first I was gonna say, so I punched your friend in the face, and now I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Oh, can I check the guy for ID real quick, just because I want to know what his name is?
Oh,
is it Terry?
Yeah, his name was Terry.
All right, cool. I'm gonna fucking find Jerry.
Jerry and Terry back together.
Why not ask the guy with the dowsing rod?
I'm El Camino, and I have killed your brother, Jerry.
I thought Terry was the name of the verbal kink guy.
Listen, there can be more than one Terry. Terry doesn't have to be a
Tom,
unique.
I'm not even sure the verbal kink guy was the second Terry in this game. He might have been the third.
I'll be back.
It's a very
I see. Okay, but real talk though, if one of us named a player character a name ending in Airy, would you try to kill us in the first session?
I feel like on principle you'd have to.
Try? No. Would it happen anyway? Possibly. Okay.
I think Sweet Tooth was like directly responsible for Terry's death. Indirectly
Which
responsible.
one?
The one that died when Urban Decay was sending his group after the church.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I think the church town killed him.
So no one's following up on the dowsing rod thing.
I can, or I can scout out and make sure we have tactical defenses set up because
Guys, just ask him for one.
What do you guys want me to do? Focus on defenses or focus on?
Having a dowsing rod would be nice, and also learning why specifically he has it.
If anybody comes up with anything particularly clever that they'd like an extra wiggle die on. let me know.
Curios and
Good to
curiosities
know.
has you.
All right, I'll split it up. Amp will go get the extra dowsing rod because he killed a guy for him,
Okay.
and then Mr. President's gonna work on defenses with the little soldiers.
All right. Some of the guys in the scrap armor and Pneuma rifles, they're called the crack shots. They're going to, because pressure cracks. Anyway, they're going to take you to some of the spots they've had trouble shoring up due to low manpower. With your mind, you can tell, okay, they've kept a few lanes open for through traffic, but if this place gets taken, that's not going to actually matter. You can point out some very obvious weaknesses in their defenses, so they'll be like, okay. Just stuff that they obviously would have realized on their own eventually, but doing it sooner is better. So they like collapse a skyscraper here, dredge up a boat to block off another path here. Just make some choke points. Make some more hard points for defense.
Okay. All right,
Do you have any
Amp will go to Salvador Senior.
Wait, senior or junior? Junior is the one with the dowsing rod.
I'll go to Junior.
Okay.
Wasn't he the guy who told him not to smoke cigarettes too?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be smoking when I walk in.
He's gonna side eye you and like very cautiously take out a cigarette and light it.
You know. Just give me a small penis.
Yeah, I don't know how to talk to you. He flicks the cigarette. Just lit.
So I saw you had like a dowsing rod. Can I have one of those?
Yeah, just heads up. Once it leaves my hand, it's only gonna work for like an hour, and I can only make 2 at a time.
Oh, cool. All right. Thanks.
Well, actually, how long do you need it for, actually?
I don't know. I just thought they were cool. That's all.
I could potentially make it last longer, but I would need an exact time is all. Yeah, if you just want it, it'll last about an hour normally.
Souvenir
Cool.
for my first kill.
Yeah, I still don't really have a good response to that. He's gonna go back to like salvaging. It looks like a half-sun convenience store. He's like dredging up a first aid kit. Yeah, you don't need to do that right in my face, guy.
Take the dowsing rod and put it on your guitar as a giant whammy bar.
Ooh, I'm gonna use it. Yeah, I'm gonna attach it to my guitar.
Wait, you could just use it. You could auto change the angle of the whammy bar with it by just wanting to detect different things.
Ooh.
Captain Dumond is going to. Hang on. Does Sal Senior have an open window in whatever room he's in?
Yes.
Captain Dumont is going to very politely, but with great enthusiasm, swing through the open window into his room and shout at the top of his very dramatic lungs, "Explosives!"
Wait.
You immediately
Question.
have 3 bodyguards train their rifles on you and go. Celestine's gonna stop and go. Explosives where?
Wait. Question.
Sorry. We need explosives.
I have a question though.
Yeah, what's up?
Would a sovereign citizen even have an open window?
He's not a sovereign citizen. This is Sal Senior.
Oh, okay.
He's
Got it.
He's more a tyrant. He doesn't. When you change that, he doesn't immediately tell his guards to lower their rifles. Like you can tell, he's like weighing the costs and go. We might have some demolition charges for sale. He raises his hand for them to lower their guns.
After many hours ceaselessly digging through the guts of our vile enemy, I have determined that they are deeply weak to explosive power. So I'm going to mine the whole approach to this town.
Okay. The charges we have could be sufficient for that, but It would take some work and expertise we don't have.
That's
Tell you what,
perfectly fine. I do.
Derek, you can't use curios and curiosities on yourself, right?
Nope.
Okay, how many pieces of 8 do you have?
I don't know. I haven't been keeping any track of that.
Oops.
I don't think he kept any money.
Oops. He goes, okay. Our normal going rate is about 15,000 pieces of 8 per demolition charge. A demolition charge in this case being a triggered explosive with about 4 area dice.
Hey, could he just trade him a Jawbreaker?
Jawbreaker, was a Jawbreaker a special candy or was it just a actual Jawbreaker?
No, it's the ones that I've been giving to Cosmo that he's been giving me 15,000 for. Wait, was that 1,500 or 15,000? I forget.
I
think it's
think
15,000.
Let's see.
15. That has to be 15,000 with the amount I have.
15,000, yeah, because basically just move the decimal place over 2, and that's how much he values his coffee.
If you have created a candy currency, consider the phrase mint an NFT.
I was with you till you said NFT.
Down bottom.
I would like to instead offer in exchange the assistance of my loyal crew in fortifying and repairing any damage that may have occurred to their wonderful town due to the vile enemy.
Hey, I would like to remind you, your crew is a few days travel away.
I thought that's how we got here.
No, we teleported with Avery, but I think the Spirit of the Unknown might be able to just... Hey, Tom, what's the weight limit on Avery's teleport?
1,600 pounds, but I would say it's a weight limit, and the Spirit of the Unknown is some sort of heavier than air travel. Does that count?
It is lighter than air travel.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, lighter than air travel, and the rules say weight, not mass. Right?
It's
The rules
supposed to
are
be
actually
mass.
mass.
It's a mass capacity.
Shit.
But it is pounds. It is measured in pounds.
But we gave you a candy with boosters on it. To Seth, how many blanks does your candy power have?
Also, I have no idea how much the Spirit of the Unknown actually weighs.
We only needed like a booster on it.
I'm pretty sure size shift is on there, so you should be able to math that out.
Okay.
Where is it? It is 3 hard dice in size shift.
Any boosters?
+4.
Okay.
Unuseful.
So that's going to be, yeah, even with boosters from the candy, that's going to be more than you can teleport. So Derek was just
So wait, then that okay? We've got a plot hole here then, because if the Spirit of the Unknown isn't here, then Captain Dumond couldn't use the science bay.
Yes,
Therefore,
I pointed that out and said, "Hey,
Okay.
we should be back at the shop."
Therefore, the Spirit of the Unknown is definitely here because he used the science lab.
Here's what's happening. The size shift isn't always on. You've deflated the balloon. The Spirit of the Unknown has shrunk down to the size of a normal boat. The candy has given the teleport a booster in mass, which means Avery, on doing a second trip, can teleport it. There we go, mathed out.
Well, Avery sees Captain Dumont arguing the intricacies of the candy through glass with Sweet Tooth. He's gonna turn to Karenade and see if he has an idea what the fuck these guys are talking about.
I'm not paid to think about what they're talking about. I'm paid to shoot the people they're talking about.
I like to imagine
paid?
that this is. I like to imagine that this is all happening retroactively in the background as other people try to figure out why the Spirit of the Unknown is there and how it's there, and Captain Dumont just knows that it should be there and therefore it was.
So Avery will hear what Karenade said, just say, "You really remind me of the last guy I saw blow someone's head up with his fist." Avery
Did you
will
pay
walk
him?
over. Avery will walk over and take the candy and go to. Now I wouldn't mind playing this out because I want to know what Avery would have to say to get the. Like Avery will, as he imbibes of the candy, will ask Captain Dumont. So when I want to go pick up your ship, what do I tell them so they don't just shoot me?
Oh, they know you. They won't shoot you much.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Captain. And
Not a
Avery
problem,
will,
my friend. I have the utmost faith in you.
and Avery will dive into the water and be back at the candy shop.
Where the Spirit of the Unknown has already deflated its balloon and is dumping ballast to get down to the proper weight and mass limit.
And
Yeah,
Avery will, however, yell up that you need to do more than that, guys. The ship needs to be fully submerged for this to work.
They'll glance at each other, and then one of them will shrug, pull out a mattock, and go down below where you'll start seeing holes being punched in the hull.
What is that a cop? What?
The ship begins
And then it'll start sinking.
Avery's eyes widen a little bit, but he's starting to get pretty used to Captain Dumont. I mean, he's getting used to Captain Dumont's crew, because they're, let's be honest, significantly wilder than Captain Dumont is.
Oh, yeah. It's been pretty great.
So, Avery will wait for the spirit to fucking sink.
So as it sinks, several of his crew are just standing on the bank. They're playing "My Heart Will Go On." One's weeping, dabbing it with his hat.
One's got bagpipes, and the others are saluting.
What are the fellow on fire?
He's holding his hand up like a lighter, waving it.
Excellent.
Actually, wait. Avery will ask. Sorry, Terry, what was the name of the guy on fire again?
Sam
McGee.
Avery will say, "Excuse me, Mr. McGee. Can you actually be submerged?"
Sam McGee will look at him, shrug, stick his hand in the water, and let me roll a die.
Oh no!
Pull it back out, shrug, and it's still burning.
All right.
The water is now on fire.
So,
Somebody must have gotten over enthusiastic with a mattock, and now it's leaking oil.
Avery will quick run inside the candy shop and say, "Hey, hi everyone. I need to transport the spirit to the flotilla for completely peaceful reasons. Sweet Tooth, do you happen to have any fireproof candy?"
No?
I'm fireproof.
All right, propose.
Oh,
All right,
Why do you need that?
that was something we should mention now that everyone's in session. I messed up giving out powers for the in-between session. So propulsion is now fireproof and has a flame-based debuff purger. Now we'll go into that later.
So Avery quickly explains that he needs to bring the spirit to the flotilla. There was an Iron Legion fellow there, and we are we just need the spirit to be there because he may or may not be dead. He was talking about sovereign citizen stuff, and that's apparently a trigger word for Karenade.
Propulsion's just going to like.
Why do you need the fireproof candy, though?
Do you know who the fellow who lives inside the spirit engine?
Yeah, I gave him some.
I need him to actually. He is still on fire underwater, and I need him to touch my body for the teleport to work, or I otherwise need to be touching him somehow.
No,
You
you're
will
gonna be underwater. She'll be fine.
you will glance out the window and see that the crew, including Sam McGee, is in the process of finishing up putting on enormous old-style diving suits.
I mean,
Sam
Avery
McGee is
sighs.
happily burning, but still in a diving suit.
Avery sighs and says, "All right,
I'm going with those still.
that's probably a good idea." Did any of you happen to be looking outside to see where they pulled those from? They definitely didn't have them on the shore before.
You're asking dangerous questions, friend.
Speaking of dangerous
I
questions,
was just like, no, I wasn't. Sorry.
I'd rather not take a peek at the abyss and see what stares back.
While you guys are
Sweet-
talking, you hear the rattle of a tube as you see Skater Kid drop a missive from Ronnie.
Ooh.
Ronnie's the
shall-
one we have at the
At
Iron
the,
Legion's base, right?
Yeah, the Iron Legion one. Reggie is at the Hive.
I
Okay.
shall go to a room that does not have quartz in it and read it.
It is a single
So-
page, torn up, dirty, covered in dried blood that says, "It's all gone wrong."
Oh no.
So-
Sweet Tooth is going to take a peek over there and see what's going on, because if I remember correctly, he still has a shard of glass in one of the
Do you mean
windows.
Charlie?
Yes, I said the wrong name, my bad.
You notice one of their dry docks is on fire. One of the things they used to repair the Leviathans and Goliaths, part of it is collapsed, massive pillars of flame. You do notice that at the bottom it was obscured by blood, but as you look, it's slowly beginning to fade. It says, "We'll send update shortly."
That's good, right? We like it when things are on fire.
I'm just going to walk up to Sweet Tooth and go, or whoever has the note, look over his shoulder, read the note, and go, "Hey, send a note to him to watch out for someone with a leather jacket with a star flag on their back."
Just, is that you? Like, out of character?
No, that's in character propulsion going, look out, tell him to look out for someone and stay the hell away from that person.
Oh, was that your... Okay. Yeah, sure. I can grow some candy, and he takes a bite of candy, and a piece of paper grows out of sugar, and he writes that down.
Tell him to stick on who was the asshole, Tristan?
Tristan.
Tell him to just stick close to Tristan. Stay away from
We'll call him Lone Star.
Lone. Yeah, I was gonna say Lone Star Cuck.
I look around till I find my black licorice pen and send it to him. I'll write really tiny at the bottom that this piece of paper is edible.
And like, you'll notice as he said Lone Star, Propulsion's hands lit on fire for a little bit.
Nice.
Please don't burn the candy shop down.
I make no promises.
Okay. Skater Kid
I'm gonna-
message.
Before I hand it to Skater Kid, I'm going to ask if he's okay, because I heard he had a run-in with the Rovers? Rovers.
He has a few bags under his eyes. He goes, "It's okay. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. It wasn't real." About 5 more times. It totally wasn't real. So therefore, it's okay.
Okay. We're
Well,
gonna-
if all the things that aren't real are okay, then that's load off my back.
Did we actually see Bats of the Flotilla?
You guys have lost track of him for a little bit.
Charlie was actively trying to watch him to keep Quartz updated.
Yeah, so people at the flotilla have lost him. Charlie,
Got it.
you notice him eating a funnel cake. He somehow acquired a Hawaiian shirt. He is having a great time.
All right, good for Bats. Bats gained some willpower.
He just wandered off and is living that tourist life with, let me roll a dice, with Blue, the vac hero.
Oh. All right. Considering the general quality of food you've described, I would not trust a funnel cake in this. I barely trust funnel cake from fairs I've been to for years.
So
I would not trust a funnel cake that came from the city.
So Charlie, you can see that this is not a freshly made funnel cake. This is a microwave funnel cake that they pulled out of the water.
I was expecting you to say this is a pre-awakening funnel cake.
It technically is pre-awakening. They did not microwave it. It is soggy. The sugar is just a solid lump.
So the worst part is Sweet Tooth think that, or Charlie think that looks pretty good.
Hey, we don't say food here.
Now that the spirit is almost entirely sunk, Avery will yell in, does anybody else need to go to the flotilla? Does anyone else here need to go there?
Charlie's gonna look at Quartz. Do you still need me to keep an eye on him, or can I head up there with him?
I imagine you'd be able to keep an eye on him up there, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with then. I'll write on the wall somewhere here if something happens.
Yeah. I guess I'll just be here with... He turns to face Avagdra. This one.
Bill walks into the room and says, hello,
Actually-
I'm here too.
Actually, I'm going to pull him into a side room.
Quartz or Bill?
Quartz.
He's gonna look very concerned and go, okay.
So, wait, nope. So, she's been acting weird. And I don't like the tone you just used when you said that one. Do you know something about her that we don't?
She ate a metal ashtray directly in front of me.
Oh yeah, she eats metal.
Okay, I feel like I could have used that bit of context. She didn't blink the entire time. She just... It made a noise, man.
Yeah, so she was telling me about the society she's from. It's wild, man. Like, if you have time, which I don't know what your schedule looks like right now,
It's free
Just
for the next
like-
20 minutes.
get her to talk about it. It's a time, man.
He's gonna slowly nod at that and go, yeah, I'll see you for story tracks.
Like, you don't have to. Don't feel pressured. Just
He's
if you want to
gonna look
listen to
out,
something.
like, okay, I'm gonna step out. She is eyeing the cash register.
No, we told her not to eat that like 4 times. Charlie's just gonna run out.
So you teleport the spirit of the unknown.
How many people? Like, that's like 20 people.
You can make multiple trips. You have enough boosters.
I think it's funnier if it's one trip with Avery just horribly like stretched to a maximum trying to get everyone at once.
All right. It's the same difference.
Charlie's grabbing like 3 of your hairs, and it doesn't hurt bad, but it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
He got them out from like under your hat.
I forgot Avery wore a hat. Okay.
Avery wears a red cap.
To hide his seaweed hair.
Yeah. He kind of stopped wearing it because his hair started getting longer and more seaweed in it. It just kept getting wet, and that was not comfortable. But that's neither here nor there. He transports everybody. Jarek, does the spirit stay on the bottom of the water? What do the crew do to get it up from the bottom of the river or whatever the water we happen to be in?
A water muffled hammering, banging, sawing, welding, and a few minutes later, the spirit of the unknown pops up to the surface, upside down. At which point, there's a hurried conversation inside, more banging and hammering, and it slowly rotates so that it's pointing the right way up.
Does the crew
Rotato, spirit of the unknown, faster.
Rotate faster. All right.
We have achieved maximum philosophy.
With that enormous digression to fill in a plot hole.
Yeah, that was on me. I should have kept better track. So Sal Sr. just looks out his window at the giant ship appearing in the middle of his fucking town. He's gonna snap
Captain-
his fingers.
Charlie will wave at him when he notices he's being looked at.
What is Captain Dumont saying?
Captain Dumont hasn't even come to talk to old Sal yet because this is pre
The
even
research. It's
research.
yeah, it is. Fast forward.
Charlie's gonna go try and find bats.
Sal's gonna reflect on the time 3 hours ago when the boat just appeared in the middle of his town and go.
He suddenly remembers happening.
He's gonna think and go. I believe your crew should stay with the ship for the time being.
Nonsense, they're good lads. They'd have things done in plenty of time for the battle.
Make a persuasion check. I'm gonna say, since this is an optional route, it does not have skills as the plot requires.
Okay. Dice roller. 10-sided dice. 5 10-sided dice. Stop. 2 7s.
He's gonna think and realize he does need every hand he can get. He'll think about it and say, okay, for your crew's aid in helping to erect barricades and repair previously damaged bunkers, I can't offer much, but I can give you 2 demolition charges for their labor.
Capital!
Alright. You have 2 triggered explosives. They have an area rating of 4, so they roll 4 dice when they explode.
And I separate that into 8 one-area die explosives.
So explosives don't really scale like that. Like 2 frag grenades would basically, like if a frag grenade is 5 area dice, 2 frag grenades would be like 6 or 7, not 10. Or it would be 2.
How many one-area dice explosives can I get out of these?
You'd be able to get like 10. Sorry, I want to clarify. You can do 2 separate instances of 4 dice, and that would be like 8 dice. But you would have It's useful because A, it doesn't destroy armor rating 5, and B, light armor would reduce it twice. That's why it's different than having it be 1 dice higher. It's like the difference between 4 area and 5 area is destroying light tank armor versus destroying a bunker. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Well, then, how many dice do I think I would need to successfully disable hydraulics on anything that was within range when it exploded?
Depending on... Let me see.
I'm planning to turn these into shaped charges roughly equivalent to claymores.
You would want to keep... These are demolition charges. They're not like military grade. They're not super strong. You probably don't want to separate them down any further. You're also... These things don't have a native penetration rating. Like, these things are meant to be placed directly onto something and then like either put into det cord and wrapped or put into a drilled crevasse, you know like how in mining you drill a hole and put the explosive in that. That's the conditions these explosives were designed to work in. So you need to do some work if you want to focus them enough to like destroy some of this like super armor.
And for context, the maintenance team does not have self only, so they are using a power to do work on this.
They're okay with that. They're pretty good with powers here.
Okay, good, because this is also a 2 hard dice engulf power.
Okay, so your crew is more fixing up old stuff rather than building new barricades like Mr. President is.
Yes, if they're building new barricades, then they're doing it as a team of 4 expert builders. If they're fixing things, they're doing it as massively efficient repairing machines.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this is going to restore several of the little bunkers they have suspended to full condition, and I'm going to fix up a few of the walls they have. That'll help make choke points. Okay. Did anyone else want to buy more explosives or see what else they have for sale here?
Can I create explosives with all the summoning material I can do?
Yeah, it would... The issue is it would start on the soldier scale, so like a frag grenade would be like the size of like mechanical pencil lead. But over time, they would be able to build like howitzers and then more sizable explosions.
That works for me.
Do you want your soldiers to start establishing forward bases and build like howitzers and stuff here?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The howitzers and stuff always do well against armor.
Yeah, they do. A howitzer would be an example of an explosive with some penetration rating, because like those are meant to like hit with some force, you know. A better example of like area with penetration would be like depleted uranium tank shells or bunker buster missiles, you know. Like that's the kind of explosive we should be aiming for. Now, that'll take a few days. It's now... Sorry, I realized I had my notes a little bit mixed up. It wasn't supposed to be 6.5 days until the trial. It was supposed to be 3. I am sorry about that. Do we want to stick with the 6, or are we okay correcting it to the 3?
I don't care personally. Whatever works for everyone.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, although
More time just means I'm stronger, which means I have to roll more dice.
with 3 days, does that actually give us enough time to get there?
Yes, especially if you have Avery's teleport. The path...
We also do have the time extension option with the seance.
Yes.
That
hold on.
doesn't help in that scenario.
Well, it kind of does. It gives you time to plan and do stuff in a secluded area. I will say, you will have time to get there, especially if you send Skater Kid to request transport. Part of the stipulation in the summons is they will provide transport if you guys don't have it. Also, the path to the hive is a lot more open because the hive keeps it more secure. As long as you're okay with being absolutely spotted by the hive and you're on good terms with them, the path to the hive is a lot faster and safer than it is to the foundry.
So,
What if we summon the fastest transport in the setting?
Bus stop ahead.
no. Okay, Tom, you see, the problem with that is you won't survive.
Instead, you could call the fastest transport I'm aware of. Choo choo.
No, we don't have that yet. You guys also do have the vaqueros, so you can get to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
I mean, technically, like a day before the summons, you can send Skater Kid, tell them you request transport, and then however long it takes them to get to the flotilla, and the flotilla is like, what, a good half a week away?
Yeah, I feel like we're not going to spend the entire time in flotilla because we're also not supposed to be here helping them with military setup because the Iron Legion's going to see that. Like,
I mean, yeah, so... Yeah.
I can always sync the Spirit of the Unknown again.
Yeah, but they also did like knowingly hire some mercenaries, right? They always do that. Seems like something they would be doing constantly based on how they were acting.
The flotilla.
Captain Dumont will nod sagely and put on a fake mustache on top of his real mustache.
The flotilla definitely hires mercenaries, but they go through a lot of mercenaries really quick, and this isn't a very populous area.
Mhm.
Kind of in the sticks out here.
So, propulsion, carronade... I'm trying to think of like the most mercenary-looking members of our squad. And it's propulsion, carronade, Bayou Bill, Captain Dumond, I think.
Bayou Bill no longer looks like a mercenary.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
He looks like a fob.
Or like a real high-class bodyguard.
Which,
So
actually, no, that could blend in around Sal Senior. He seems like that type.
Oh,
yeah.
fair.
I don't know if it makes a difference, but cut back to the candy shop for a moment where you see that Bill has discovered that if he touches some of the buttons of the suit to the tooth, they start glowing like the tooth does, so he's been very carefully getting that to work.
Oh, so Bill didn't come to the... Okay.
Nah, he's hanging out.
And Amp also signed on as a mercenary. So, like, Propulsion, Carronade, Amp. I'm trying to think of else who can stay and be kind of non-discreet. Or discreet.
Amp does not look like a mercenary, though.
Well, but you were a part of Carronade's offer.
Yes, I'm just saying, though, if they were looking at people and saying, that looks like a mercenary, they're going to look at Amp, they're like, yeah, that's definitely not a mercenary.
But if you hang out with Carronade and also...
Listen, Bob, I literally look like I'm your bard, okay?
I know.
I look
I
like
know.
you're... Like, you look like you do all the work. It's like The Witcher all over again, right? And I'm just following around, playing stupid songs at you. That's what I assumed Ant was doing.
If we give the Iron Legion's intelligence network any amount of credit, they will know who is on Sal Senior's payroll, and it includes Amp.
How much credit do you want to give them, though?
I mean,
full credit.
Considering they were able to stick literal, actual morons into deep cover in the flotilla. Well, I say deep cover, but like just they were able to be there in the sticks and not draw any attention to themselves.
Do you want to make a tactics roll for me real fast?
Can I make a
I can
tactics
roll
roll as
tactics.
propulsion?
Yeah.
I can roll tactics.
For a moment, just cut back to the candy shop for just a moment where we can see Bill. He's in his room again, that little shitty closet. And because of what Propulsion just said, and Propulsion actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. He is making you the scepter of InfoSec.
7 10s.
Okay.
Oh shit.
So that idea of these guys are incompetent, how did they get into deep cover? That actually does imply that they have someone who is actually competent running their like their intelligence operations. That's actually a really good take. The downside is if they're that good, they might start questioning, where these specific mercenaries came from, and they might start looking into things a bit too deeply.
Well, Propulsion hasn't hung around with the hub that much.
That is correct.
And Amp specifically hung around Carronade playing music.
Yeah,
Captain Dumont was, and has always been a mercenary.
And Carronade is a mercenary. Like,
Straight up, yeah.
yeah,
So
so
those guys are safe.
and if they look into Propulsion, they're like, oh,
No, this.
yeah,
tracks.
he's got a good reason to be there.
Yeah, like
So I think those four are good to stay in the flotilla for the little pokey raids. And then
the issue is
everybody else
anyone
come
else.
in. Yeah, and then everybody else come in later for the big.
Okay, so Mr.
Fuck off
President
raid.
should probably pull out then.
Yeah.
you still
Okay.
done some good work. Mr. President
And-
can stay.
Well,
He
Mr.
has
President
to-
could have just been a sort of a defense expert they could have hired for a bit, and then I can go back to the hub.
I mean, yeah,
As long as
it
you-
is also. Sorry.
As long
I
as
mean,
you have a good cover story, you'll be fine.
I mean, Mr. President is known for helping disenfranchised communities.
I mean,
That's
Mr.
true.
President could just say with full chaining and everything, I've been here the whole time. And what's the guy gonna do? Not believe him?
I mean, there's no need for that because it's Mr. President. He helps people in need, apparently.
I mean, that is what I've literally been doing.
He sets up communication networks, lets communities be able to fend for themselves with defenses and such. It's what he does.
Oh, maybe if you set up try starting to set up a communications system. That would be a target for their attacks to take off heat from other stuff.
That's fair. I'll ask Sal Jr. for being able to set up a communications network.
He gives you 20,000 credits to start. Or, credits! Pieces of
20,000 credits!
20,000 pieces of
You already
eight to
said
start.
it! 20,000 credits! I got 20,000 credits! Hey guys!
Okay, for the sanity of everybody here, I declare a new rule. If Sam doesn't catch himself in 3 seconds, or fuck it, it's a 5-second rule. If Sam doesn't catch it in 5 seconds, it counts.
No, we're not doing that to Sam.
Sam, how much money is that in
the game?
How much money is that? I've been measuring it in real money because you work in too much.
Okay, so 20,000 pieces of 8 is equivalent to about like $200, like a bit between like $200 and $350. It's like what you would give to like a college student.
Guys, I officially have more money than I did in college.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we all have more money than we had in college.
Captain Dumont doesn't have money.
doesn't need it.
So,
Nope.
Propulsion wants to have a chat with Sal Senior.
Okay. Office is always open.
Gonna walk in and like sit across from him at the desk.
He's filing his paperwork. He gives a nod at you, ready for you to start.
So, how much do you know about the Legion?
I know that they settled the great melee that's been going on in the southern part of this district for past 3 years. I know that they've had some troublesome types join them. And I know that they've been a pain in my ass for at least 6 months. Do you want to make a streetwise check on that statement for me real fast?
Okay. I should have given him streetwise. 2 sevens.
6 months is... They should have been a problem a full, like, year and a half ago. At, like, latest. They you know, from, because your position's a little bit closer to them in the neighborhood. They started moving north about 2 years ago after they took out the Ripperoots. So they should have been raiding the flotilla shortly after that. The fact that they only started 6 months ago implies that they had a reason. Or something happened.
So what did you pick up 6 months ago that caught their interest?
Nothing as far as I'm aware. I mean, let me put it this way. We had some raids early on, but they stopped just like that. I guess they didn't. We didn't have a reason. We just figured, maybe they didn't consider us worth the fight. 6 months ago is when they started raiding us. Things didn't get this bad until 2 weeks ago, 3.
So, what do you know about an Iron Legion member with a jacket with a Lone Star flag on their back?
Let me do a roll, see what he remembers. He's gonna shake his head and go, they kind of blend together at this point. I'm not sure I know who you're talking about.
Alright. What do you know about their mobile artillery platforms?
They've only ever sent one up this way towards us, and that was when we had there was a group of mercenaries that came through this way. They said they were just doing some scouting on the old Poseidon Energy building. Still don't know what their talents were, but the Iron Legion stepped it up, and those mobile artillery at least made them withdraw the contract. So I know they're strong. I know they call down lightning, but I didn't. Most of the fighting took place out in the old Poseidon Energy ruins, not here. I didn't get a good look.
So they like to fight out by the old Poseidon Energy building.
No, that's where the mercenary group took it because they didn't want to fight in town. I suppose they figured it would be a better place to try and fight them. I couldn't tell you. They didn't inform me.
So Propulsion's just going to, he's just going to go along this line of questioning, checking in on if Sal Sr. is ready for a large-scale attack like what happened in the neighborhood. Asking about the different armor types that he knows of. And now he knows about Mark 7s because of the Dark Room.
So, what Sal Sr. gives you the impression of is he is prepared for what he's seen and what he's been told. He, as far as he can tell, he cannot afford weapons that can punch through a Mark 7. So, what he's been doing with the suspended diving bell bunkers and the sandbag emplacements all over town is he's just trying to create a bunch of places that are safe from aerial attacks, like artillery coming down. It's not perfect, but it's the only solution he thinks he has. Sal Sr. seems weirdly confident in his own ability against the armors, but that's
He should simply put many trampolines in the town, and then when they send down artillery, it will fire back.
Speedrun strats. So, what Sal has been doing with the mercenary groups is he's mainly just been trying to get bodies. He's pretty sure... So, the Pneuma Rifles are great at lightly armored targets, but it requires 4 of them to focus on one Mark III to take it down. Which is still good. A Pneuma Rifle only cost 5 credits, so 4 of them is 20 credits, whereas comparatively, if you were to put a credit value to a Mark III, that's 100 or so credits. That's great value. But...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Iron Legion could turn them out in greater numbers, and the Pneuma Rifle crackshot guys, they're vulnerable. They can't move when firing. They're very loud. They draw attention to themselves. He needs mercenaries to tie up the ground forces while they get to work.
So, final question. What is the worst possible scenario you can envision coming from a victory?
I can't imagine what a pure victory would look like, but the worst thing I can imagine, we win, but we're a scavenging town. We need a critical mass of people who know what's worth salvaging or not. Even if every single one of our crack shots survives, even if I survive, there comes a very real point where we win, everything's fine, and there's just not enough of a reason for people to stay around afterwards. Once the threat's gone, people can leave. If this town is too damaged, is too barren of the skills that made it run, people are going to leave. And the town's going to die anyway.
And have the raids been by large boats or single craft?
Single light craft, they get in, they get out. Sometimes the Mark IIIs just walk along the bottom of the water and climb their way up. They have their own oxygen, you know. So sometimes we don't notice them until they jump through our piers.
All right. I have a proposition for you. Propulsion holds out his hand. I patrol your borders for you, and I get revenge.
Sal Senior perks up at that. And with the handshake of someone who trusts you completely, he says, I can agree to that.
All right. Propulsion, cracks his knuckles, lights his hands on fire, opens up Sal's
There is an open window.
Just goes up to the window and goes, I'll let you know if I see anything, and just jumps out and flies away.
He nods and goes back to his paperwork. Okay. So is Captain Dumond with his crew? Is he on the Spirit of the Unknown right now?
Yeah, probably, but they haven't. They actually, you know what they've done? They've lashed the Spirit of the Unknown down, so it's between some buildings, so it's not easily visible.
Okay.
Where it will rise as a great bird of prey from ambush.
I like it.
I'm sure that can actually take a Mark 3.
Skater Kid's gonna show up giving Captain Dumond a salute, and he's going to provide 3 packages. One from Ronnie, one from Reggie, and one's a note that's just from him that says, we should probably convene to talk about espionage. I would recommend doing it on the ship because it's probably the only place that we don't have outsiders right now.
Capital idea, my two-dimensional friend.
He's gonna give you the dumbest fucking smile.
Captain Dumond will pop a sharp salute back and head below to unwrap the packages.
Skater Kid ollies out. He goes around to everyone, letting them know that, like, hey, we got messages from our quote-unquote friends, R&R, or whatever. Like, if you guys don't immediately catch on that it's espionage, he's gonna go, like, secret things on ship, please go see Captain Dumont. The Vaquero.
Charlie was on his way to find bats.
Oh.
He will say he's probably okay with blue and turn around and run back to the ship.
So if he was eating like a funnel cake he just found in the water, you're gonna find him in the water, just Bear Grylls-ing it, picking up a salmon, eating caviar fresh from the tap.
That's awful.
It's horrid.
It happened once on Man vs. Wild. It was fucked.
Bats doesn't understand nature.
You know, Tom, you don't have to be like this.
That's actually making me viscerally uncomfortable.
Okay.
Tom, you can be however you want to be.
So
Yeah.
I just the note from Ronnie is basically a breakdown of what he tried to do. What he basically said he did was what he did was he tried to sabotage a dry dock they used for building and repairing larger suits of armor. He was successful. So on the flotilla raid, it's not going to be 3 to 5 Leviathans anymore. It's going to be 2 to 3 max.
Cool.
It's not going to be...
Hey, are we supposed to be able to see this right now?
Oop. Nope.
You screenshotted it, right, Seth? Send it to me.
Oh, was Sam
No, I'm just
streaming
gonna
his
click on
notes?
stream. Yeah.
Sam was streaming his notes.
Very nice. Well done, Sam. Well done.
Instead of
You see,
8 to 10 Goliaths, it's going to be 4 to 5 Goliaths now.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably going to be a similar number of Mark IIIs.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Ronnie is immediately going to tell you, though, that something about this was incredibly wrong from the start. It was too easy, as if someone had set it up for success. He expected to see a lot more trouble. And towards the end, he couldn't complete his sabotage, so they will be able to repair it a lot faster than he thought they would be able to.
I can't remember. Did we fill him in about Tristan?
I don't know if you did or not.
Okay.
Now I'm regretting telling him to stick by Tristan.
We should probably fill him in about Tristan.
So there's a couple things that happened as a result. This was a pretty major operation he did, and it had pretty big effects. But as soon as he did it, he doesn't know who, but someone in the Iron Legion's High Council. They basically advocated for substituting in the missing Leviathans and Goliaths with some of their combat talents. The Iron Legion has its own little subgroup called the Ironworks that handle more specialized missions. Think of them as special ops, but think of them more like an in-house specialist group, you know?
Yep.
You're gonna So Ronnie has basically burnt the midnight oil. He felt so bad about the fuck up he did that he actually burned some base will to do some extra operations.
Okay.
He's learned a couple of the names that are going to be in the Ironworks, and more importantly, he learned that the Iron Monger himself, who is one of the top 3 guys.
Is that the transmutation guy?
No, that's La Forja. Iron Monger is the guy he's like an industrialist. He was originally from the Ripperoots, and he was the guy who really kickstarted the armor R&D for the Iron Legion.
Now, he was a not good fellow, if I remember.
He is actually one of them. He is one of the people you want alive.
Okay. Gotcha.
He's not a nice person, but he's reasonable. He does what's efficient. The people you want alive are Tristan, the Ironmonger, the Cayman, he was from the he's called the Cayman because he's from the Caymans. He's one of the surviving members of that group, and he's basically the second in command after the Iron Dragon. He has been on the front lines of every major campaign they've had, and he is just fucking tired of fighting.
Got it.
So, you know what? I'm just gonna scroll down to some names real fast. These are okay to see. He found out that there are some names and some talents. We have the Cayman, for example, he's a part of the Ironworks, technically speaking. He's think of them as his Praetorian Guard almost. A talent you've heard of before, the Presiding Silence, is part of the Ironworks. You know that he's a sound-based talent, but you know that he is also a transmutation talent. He is one of the talents that Tristan has labeled as, you don't need to kill him, but it will be a lot easier for everyone else if he's dead because he is everywhere. He hears everything.
Oh, my bars are going to get to him. And I know he's going to hear them now.
There's a number of other talents. There's a talent named Xylophone, who plays a xylophone. They summon iron bars. That's as far as he's been able to get on that one. There's Prime Minister Sinister, aka the Executive Defector. Seth, did that get you?
Yep.
Okay.
Did the Iron Legion put all of their effort into their names?
The Executive Defector he was a member of the Executives before they broke. His power is minion subversion. Or hierarchy subversion. They're not quite sure which. But as far as Ronnie can tell, if you mind control someone, his power just mind controls them harder, but it only works on either minions, summoned creatures, or things that are already mind controlled or hyper charmed. The executives have a number of tricks that were specific and proprietary to their faction that mean that he can use minions better than you inherently. But there are weaknesses to it.
And once again, I am very happy that chivalry is the way he is.
There's a character named the Fringe Marquis, who is another character you want alive. He is also part of the Ironworks. He is an expert swordsman, and it is aware that he has some ferrokinesis that is tied directly to his swords. There's a character named Stonks, who summons these artillery platforms made out of metal. There's a metallurgist who is a tinker that makes metallic constructions. And finally, there's a talent named Golden Boy, who everyone just calls Xander, because that's his name. Did I cut out there?
I just I at least chuckled at Xander because that's his name. The Iron Legion, like, are you sure they didn't put all the effort into the names? Because like their styling seems so much more coherent than everything they've done up to this point.
Well, to be fair, you've interacted with literally people that are okay with losing. The Iron Monger, he's gonna be a bigger problem. He is a warlord, in like not the traditional sense, but he is more about getting things done. He's a man who was injured pretty early on in one of their first campaigns, so he has been grafted to the inside of a Mark V. That makes him incredibly strong and incredibly resilient. His Mark V, as of late, is powered by a Forge Heart. He, as long as he is alive, will be a massive just beacon of power and leadership for the entire raiding party. His power isn't well defined, but the descriptions of it basically sum it up as he gives things the property of iron, or properties of iron. He doesn't quite so Ronnie doesn't quite know what that means or how far that goes, but he knows it is a problem because the Iron Monger's Mark V is a custom model, and its magnetic capabilities are a bit enhanced over the normal one. Besides that, Tristan only has the 4 names of the Iron Monger's personal guard. There's a guy named Railgun, Occident, Slag Slide, and Magna Magus, who you guys recognize as he was on Tristan's group.
Yeah, I was going to say I remember that name.
Finally, the Iron Legion wants to test out a Mark VII on the raid. So there's only 2 candidates right now. One is a guy by the name of Tristan, and the other is a guy by the name of Lone Star. It's going to be one of the 2. Ronnie is confident that he could sway one or the other because his voice is kind of heard, and failing that, he could just slip some laxatives into one of their drinks and get the other one nominated.
In that case, let's send Tristan. Oh wait, so is sending Tristan actually better? Because if they don't send Tristan, we can just kill the guy. And
So I think Propulsion would have told you he saw if Tristan stayed behind and didn't participate in the raid, Ronnie would live. And
yeah.
Wait, sorry, when was this?
So in the Darkroom session, Propulsion got a vision of the future.
Okay.
Where there was a dichotomy between if you send Tristan, Lone Star remains behind. And somehow, on something Ronnie does, Lone Star will catch and kill him. If Tristan remains behind, Tristan will see that they're working towards the same goals and let him live to continue working. Now, the downside is that means you'll have to face Lone Star at the flotilla, and he is just a full-on Mark 7 who has no sympathies towards you guys.
I think you mean the downside is Propulsion is going to 1v1 one star, and one of them is going to die.
That is feasible, yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that one is Propulsion.
I believe in Propulsion.
I think Amp could do pretty well against him.
Against a Mark 7 that is just going to eat your power.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, can Avery roll a mind check for me?
Okay.
I mean, I guess we could just try and burn him alive by overheating it.
What's this about burning people alive?
I'm not sure if we can overheat a Mark 7 if we just put all of our powers.
Avery has 2 7s.
Hey, Tom, doesn't Avery know a Xander whose power was to make them gold?
What?
Oh my god. Avery. Wait, Xander's power was making himself silver, though.
Oh, shit, then Silver Boy. Sorry, I thought it was gold.
Yeah. Xander's power was that he could make himself big and.
No. Golden Boy is so much funnier of a name.
Okay, alright. Redcon to gold because you were correct.
No, it's
Avery-
funnier if he makes himself silver.
Avery will. Oh shit! It is. Fuck. Avery will raise his hand and say, no, Xander.
You what?
He was my roommate. He came to the city with me. I honestly thought he was dead. He's a huge narcissistic jackass who, near as I can tell, came to the city and got the power that made him big, silver, and muscular, but I think he just looked like that. I honestly don't think I gave him anything else. I saw him jump off of a building and there was an awful crunching noise.
Well, I don't know what to do with that. I mean, do you have anything personal we could use against him? Do you think maybe you could talk him down from fighting?
I guess I could tell him G-Slice is dead. He didn't like him very much.
Did anyone?
G-Slice and Xander were really close friends.
All right, for reference, Chris, I have been working with the assumption that Avery and G-Slice were both of the least popular people on the entire campus.
Nope. No. Oh,
G-Slice
more
had a
reasons
beef.
for you to hate Xander.
Oh, there is one more talent. There is a talent by the name of Repulsion, who has a magnetic, who has like a magnetic power. Uses it to fly, punch really hard.
Nice.
That's
Nice,
super
Sam.
fortunate.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Sam. You're
I don't
real
think
original.
you're seeing the full picture, but go for it. There were some prior members. There was, of the Ironworks, there was a character by the name of Grey Goo who was a slime. That was, as far as I could tell, an animate pile of, like, not nanites, but like ferrofluid. That character, unfortunately, is gone. They had a character named the Diving Bell who also left. Unfortunately, he was just kind of like this sealed in like environment suit. Anyway,
Sorry, are you sure Xander is still alive?
yeah.
Huh. Avery looks really honestly taken aback. think Xander failed all of his classes, faked having a heart attack once, and
Uh-oh! Is this me?
yeah, sorry.
Was Xander an attack on me?
But I
No.
was just thinking that, and it was kind of like, just like, damn.
No, the fucked up thing is when I didn't send you the character because I had originally written that before you ever told me that story,
Okay.
and I didn't want to send it to you because I was afraid you would think it was an attack.
Well, that explains why that story hit you so hard at first.
Yeah. Yeah, I was confused. A lot of the stuff you said was a lot of stuff you have alleged to have done is things I wrote rat bastard characters doing.
Oh no. Guys, I think I need a mirror.
Ask Xander, he's shiny.
But yeah, the Ironworks is it was originally named after metallurgist because he owns a smithy. He makes iron trinkets for the group. Anyway. Any questions about... So, any final thoughts? We're committing to Tristan staying behind and Lone Star going to the flotilla?
Yes, I personally think that's probably for the best.
Okay.
Mutant Squad would figure out a way to come and kill us if we let him die.
Yeah.
And they're all combat talents, and I don't want to take that fight.
The Versus crossover.
Give me like 2 sessions and I'll have better combat talents than than all of them put together.
I mean, I think we're so far ahead in points because of how many more sessions we've had that it'd be fine.
True.
That and they don't use
Oh,
the
like-
second character slots.
And also amp. Just
Yeah.
amp.
I don't know exactly
Amp
what
is
AMP
just-
does, but it's been hyped up enough that if AMP doesn't just destroy the entire fucking world, I'm going to be
I
disappointed.
literally used my power last game, and I dusted someone, Tom.
Yeah, but would you keep talking about how you can dust an entire metropolitan area?
Yep, it's built
can.
that way.
If it didn't have controlled effect, every time amp swung their guitar, the city would collapse into the ocean.
Oh,
Which I think is a bad thing.
Yeah, that's
where whales come from?
Like, not even from the people living on the city standpoint, just on the Scar standpoint.
If
The
the
city-
Scar is underwater, does that flood the multiverse?
No. Okay. Let's see here. Does anyone have any final questions about Ronnie's info or anything they want him to work on while he's...
I actually think we probably should note that Tristan is... You know what? No. We'll let him figure it out on his own. He's smart.
I think we should tell Ronnie to just kind of hide in the background for a little bit and not draw attention to himself.
I think he is good enough at operating on his own that we can let him do that, and it'll
So
probably be
I
okay.
do want to point out, one of the warnings you got about Ronnie from Reginald is that he is bad at risk management.
Sure.
It's not that he overestimates himself, it's that he knows how good he is. But he will take riskier options for arguably not comparable payoffs.
So he's like in it for the glory of it.
I am now more in line with what Bob just said.
Damn, can I soul read Sam's characters or what? We need to explicitly tell them to not kill themselves, or else the NPCs will die.
Okay.
I just want to do this fight already. For being honest.
Well, Chris, we have at least one session of explaining to the Hive why we think human slavery is a bad thing.
All right.
Ooh, I should go in
Where were
and
you when
demand that
the
they free
squad
all
went?
their slaves.
Or we could just ignore the Hive summons and completely break down Hive Hub relationships.
Okay. Let's move on to Reginald's letter from the Hive. You open it up. There is a fully intact, unused slave collar right there.
I
Oh,
see.
This is a model green. It is the second most common type of slave collar. Reginald got it for you guys because you asked him to get a slave collar. Downside is he is. So Reginald has worked his way into a pretty favorable position in the Hive because he's a tinker, and he got there pretty fast. Downside, the Hive found out he's a tinker, and as soon as he asked about the slave collars, they gave him a bunch of info on them, but now they also want him working on slave collars.
Ah, I see.
So he's given you all of the info he has on them right now. They won't give him anything super in depth unless he agrees to work on them. But he can say no.
considering that he went to such trouble to psychologically put himself back together, I kind of don't want to ask that of him, though I feel we should.
I feel like we should have him say no, honestly. Like, we have it here, and we have the good captain.
So you have the second most common type of slave collar. It's the one that's primarily used in the Hive. The most common one, the type yellow, is the one that's used for field work.
You know, the one that almost leveled Trimtown?
No,
No?
looking at the messages, those were type orange. Those are an outdated type of slave collar that's pretty much just used as surplus. That lets you know that they didn't want any of those slaves or overseers coming back, really.
Gotcha.
Type oranges are very uncommon.
Okay. Um. Like, I feel like we can probably still glean a lot of good information on this. Getting the most common would be nice for outfield stuff. But I feel like I am on board with Tom that I don't really want to do that to Reginald, and B, I feel like he could do better stuff. I just don't know what to put him on because if I remember correctly, Reginald's better if he has like a task to work on.
Yeah,
You find a resistance to start like maybe a rebellion too, so they're dealing with a rebellion, the Iron Legion and us.
What if we could Death Star it and have him put in like a flaw that I can like that we could turn the collars off with.
So I want to say Mutant Squad has already told you about a resistance cell in the Hive. There's a talent named the Butcher. He is leading an internal resistance. It's just that he is powerless when the harvest is going on.
Which is starting soon?
It's
Question
in
mark?
progress right now.
Gotcha.
That's part of the reason they can't afford this two-front war. If they weren't in the middle of the harvest, the Hive would be able to take this two-front war no problem. Like, they would just be able to solo both factions. The fact that they have, when the harvest is going on, they have to devote 90% of their resources towards internal management.
Okay.
So, guys, thoughts on the bomb collar deal? You have a saboteur potentially in Reginald. That is in his wheelhouse. Like he is under negative suspicion right now because he's done very little that is suspicious, and he's been like helping out.
Yeah, so like
Could he prolong how long it takes for the harvest to finish?
That's a bit beyond the scope of his abilities. He could slow it down, sure, but it would only be like by a couple of days. He doesn't have access to, like, he would need to do some stuff to be put into a manager position, and if that happens, he could do it, but he'll be under a lot more scrutiny, you know? If you want him to go for that, like he could do it eventually, but the number of operations he'll be able to do and like what he'll be able to get away with will be severely limited.
yeah, I feel like as nice as that would be, it's probably not our best option.
I was just thinking of things, just some things.
Like, it is an option. Like, if he did that, he would. If he got into a leadership position, that would open up the option of extending the harvest, which is useful. The harvest is the main thing keeping the hive in check.
Then how about he slowly works towards that then? Him becoming a manager.
Yeah, we could tell him to work towards leadership, although
Because worst comes to worst, he becomes leadership just as it ends, and he could affect how the battles go. Right?
But like, on the other hand, we could have him build a kill switch into the collars.
Okay. I mean, that works too. I like that as well.
Well, we could also get him to build a fail-safe instead of fail-deadly into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that instead of...
It like calms them down instead.
No, I mean so that if the bomb collar would otherwise go off after having been disabled, it instead just goes inert.
My concern with that is that is a lot more noticeable.
No, I mean if it's been disabled, not if it... Never mind.
So, in the design documents for the slave collars you guys have, that's not like an accidental thing. That's an on-purpose kill switch. That's a feature, not a bug. So the reason they do that is because they view slaves as inherently worthless, and they want to make sure that if the slave dies, they at least destroy a comparable amount of value for the enemy. Reginald could put in a failsafe so that when the collars fail, they go inert, but he would have to frame it as a bug that happens only a certain percentage of the time. It's like, hey, sorry guys, this is a trade-off I can do for the collar where it's it does this amazing thing, but it has a chance of failure. Or he could make it so that if certain conditions are met, the dead man's switch will fail. He can build in a way to subvert the kamikaze function.
What are some things we personally can do to affect the environment around us?
I mean, pretty easily, I have a very large AoE drain that I could put on it, and if you could make it respond to that to turn off, that would be super nice because I could just turn a lot of them off very fast.
We can also do sound waves because of amp.
That could also work, yeah. Look, they only break if there is a perfect E minor for this amount of time. What are the odds of that happening?
Yeah, that's what I was
Cut
thinking.
to amp.
Other thing is, though, if we do have him go banishment, though, they'll be even less suspicious of him, and when he gets to a manager role, he can do more damage.
So, I will say, the Hive has it's like a hyperbolic trust function. When you're a slave, 0 trust. When you're a middle management nobody, you're not a slave, so you have some trust, but there's no oversight over you because it's like, how much damage can you really do? More than you think, less than you'd hope is the answer.
Okay.
And then when you get to leadership, you get into the politics, you get into the backstabbing. Everything you do is suddenly a lot more important, so you have like 5 people checking over everything you do.
Okay, never mind then.
Now, granted, if he's clever, he could do real damage there, but he won't
Well,
be able to...
I mean, the other thing he could do is go into management, right? And then just turn people against, like, some of the more scarier talents, right?
Like he could play the politics game, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, where he, like, intentionally gets, like, some people in upper management either, like, killed or turned into slaves. That's another idea.
If you want to do that, that is totally doable. He would basically, every time he would get the chance, he would provide you a list of talents and be like, okay, which one do you want to make me? Do you want me to make plays against? That'd be
Yeah, I would just say what the ones that he feels are most dangerous, though. I mean, this is just another idea. I'm not sure how the rest of the group feels. I'm just kind of brainstorming.
Just so we can point it out, the bomb collar strat and the management strat are mutually exclusive. He can't do both. If he goes under the bomb collars, he's in that division. They're gonna want to keep him there because he'll know too much about stuff that's important to the hive.
What do you guys think?
Can we send small items to him?
Yeah, Skater Kid can absolutely transport things just, like, stealthily.
Cool, what's on the flow chart?
Well,
We don't know what that is.
I was
Oh,
thinking
wait, that actually might be a better idea than I initially thought.
I was thinking more along the lines if there's something particularly big and bold that we want him to do, we could send him a knick-knack.
Ooh, knick-knack.
Can you nuke the entire hive?
I'm not sure 2 wiggle dice will get me a pocket nuke, but we can try.
So,
Kama was a nuclear engineer. Can we?
I mean, so 2 wiggle dice is technically what, 16 times whatever you want in regular dice, right? Because it's
no, wealth dice.
four.
You can't translate wiggle dice to normal dice. It would be like point wise, but
Yeah. Point wise, it'd be 16 times whatever you want in normal dice. So with 2 wiggle dice, you can go,
It's still just 2 matches.
yeah.
Well, give me a day and I can probably stat out something that would be pretty destructive with just 2 matches.
Well, the thing is, it's knickknacks and curiosities. We can send him an item that will help
Or certain
on
speed.
an action. We don't get to pick what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
my
personally leaning towards him causing inner discontent,
Okay.
where he. I don't want to be the one that makes the choice, though. I want like everyone to sort of vote. But I really think that's a smart idea. Where if he finds like a talent that he thinks is going to be particularly hard for us to deal with, he just like gets that guy to look like absolute trash. And basically gets that guy off the board. That's removing like an entire talent and causing a big power schism, which always causes discontent in an organization.
Captain Dumont, where did you get that bottle of Silver Tongue?
I've had it for a while.
From the same place he got that RC Cola.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I just have a copy of the fucking vending machine from Risk of Rain 2 in my hold.
Hell yeah.
I will be honest. If you could every day just sneak Reginald a bottle of Silver Tongue combined with his own tinker abilities, he'd be pretty scary politically.
I mean,
We could do that.
could we just drop him one?
Yeah, Skater Kid can
Made a pretty huge batch. I doubt all the Iron Legion took all of them.
The Iron Legion would take everything you would have made because
Okay.
Tristan needs to burn through those slowly.
The other thing is, guys, I think if he moves up like far enough, and somehow we assassinate or like the leader of the hive dies, that means he's got like claim to like actually holding that and maybe not turning it into a giant slave pen.
I don't think that him moving upwards is probably a good idea. Sowing discontent, on the other hand, that I like.
Okay, well, he'd have to move upwards to sow discontent.
Would
He
he?
could just collapse
Yeah.
the foundations of the towers that the hive is built on and watch it collapse.
Yeah, but then a lot of innocent people die. At least if he moves upwards and he's only targeting like scumbags at the top of the manager level, he's like, killing scumbags that are okay with slavery.
Yeah, like straight up, the hive isn't an area where people actually live. They just straight up, if they don't enslave a town, they use towns as like people farms with what they call the tithe, where a town just has to give up a certain number of people every month.
I hate that.
Yeah, so if he's able to knock off a few of those like scumbags before we like fucking get there, I think that'd be great.
I miss the version 1 thermonuclear
Where Alex walked in.
I miss the version 1 thermonuclear warhead of Alpha. Just drop Alpha somewhere and go. Be free.
I mean,
kill. Very targeted thermonuclear warhead.
Amp somehow sneaks into the hive. I mean, I think I could do a decent amount of damage.
I don't think you have the innate tankiness of Alpha.
Oh no, I do not have tanky. I do have duration 7 hard dice engulf healing though,
There was one
and the
thing
ability
I
to
wanted
reload limbs.
Point out.
Okay.
You mentioned you actually did send a message to Reginald that I forgot about until just now about the whale oil. He thinks, get a job on the whale oil production and refinement line. However, that is an incredibly insular group. His options would be limited. But if he could find out where they're getting the whale oil, and more importantly, he could send proof to you guys, which might, you could use to upset the whalers.
Yeah, couldn't he do that though as like a manager, like an upper manager too?
So, the whale oil stuff is some of the most secretive stuff they have there. If you're not, it's like, even the people who work on it, their knowledge is kept specifically to what they do. If you learn...
Yeah, I don't feel like he can move really well in there then.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's also dangerous because it's like, he straight up saw a slave, like not like a slave, but like a skilled worker walk out with just a drop of whale oil soaked into their collar, and they were burned alive for it.
Yeah, so let's not do that one.
Let's not do that one,
I
too.
don't like that one.
I mean,
Yeah. Thanks for the bad idea, Sam.
Have him back. But
Thanks for the bad idea, Sam. Makes me feel better about my idea.
yeah, so I'm having a hard time between the two. Just the only thing that I don't like about the color group 1 is that that's fairly restrictive on what he can do.
So, the bomb color group one, you mean?
Yeah.
So, that's not as secretive as like the whale oil. In terms of like stuff he can do professionally, yeah, he can work with the bomb colors. But no one's going to be he'll have downtime, and no one's going to be checking him during that downtime. He could use that to try and contact resistance groups. He could try and sabotage shipments. He could try and plant like glow sticks that incite riots. Or just make people work slower.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of for that group personally.
Okay. Well, let's vote, guys.
We got one
That way
vote
we
for
can get this
management.
out.
We got one vote for bomb callers.
Okay, go ahead, guys.
Let's start with Tom.
Tom, you're the first vote, and thus we're gonna judge every action you take here.
Look, I've been out of it all goddamn night. This is all right.
This is a life or death situation. We're gonna really need your focus here.
Yeah. Turns out we're fighting the Hive and the Iron Legion right now.
Bob, what do you think?
Yes.
Bomb caller or management? You gotta pick one.
I think I'm gonna lean towards management.
Okay, 2 for
Captain
management.
Dumont votes for adventure.
Is that management or bomb caller?
That's adventure.
I need it. I need one of the two.
I think he's forgoing his vote.
Sam is just like, please, please.
Okay, we have one vote for direct assault.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
No. You can't do direct assault again. Your other character's already busy doing that.
Oh yeah.
There is room for 2.
Did the one guy did he actually send anything about a spaceman just murdering thousands of like Hive people?
You would have to ask. Do you want to make that one of the 2 things he can do this week?
No.
No.
No. I was just really hoping for a funny thing.
I suspect the longer it takes, the funnier it'll get when we finally find out.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you're never gonna believe this, but a fucking spaceman showed up, started killing everybody. It took me so much time to explain to him that I'm actually a spy so he wouldn't murder me on sight.
It just goes silent eventually, and it turns out the entire block that he was in has been leveled by a maddened spacesuited skeleton.
Fuck yeah.
All right, Bob, you gotta vote.
So my choices are management or bomb caller.
Or adventure.
Or
adventure.
Adventurous frontal assault, which is funny.
Adventure sounds pretty great. I'm gonna go with management.
All right, management. It is.
Fucking hell. Goddamn frontal assault. They're just like having just a lot of random talents charge them head on.
Adventure.
Oh, wait.
How to commit suicide. How to commit suicide in 3 easy steps.
How does Reggie move to like upper management though?
Basically, he's gonna once he's in, he would basically have like political situations that he can't resolve himself, and he would contact either you guys or like internal allies he makes at the Hive. And
Okay.
he, as long as like, basically he just has his own little adventures, and as long as he doesn't fuck up, he will move up.
Okay.
Past a certain point, though, he's gonna be tapping you guys for like silver tongue, blackmail materials, anything,
Hey.
any help from the outside.
Hey, Sam, I'm going to cut you off real quick and ask, do you have work tonight?
I go in at 1 today.
Okay, just making sure, because it's like 10:20, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Sam, can we just say, just in case we forget, that we send him silver tongue every day?
Okay.
So the issue with that is that would require me to end the current batch
Oh yeah.
unless I manufacture it. Which I do have an open manufacturer slot that me and
Manufacture it,
Sam
buddy.
talked about at the beginning that I could just manufacture one of my candies. I think I'm just going to manufacture silver tongue.
Okay. So manufacturable is a very interesting extra. It's gonna have a willpower cost, and you're gonna need some hands on deck to help make the candy.
He's got soldiers.
Soldiers don't have willpower.
No willpower for you.
But I do have quartz.
You do.
Wait, hold on.
Oh no. You have a Vogue
Yeah, I'm not
and the back arrows.
If you send the soldiers deeper into the damp, will they have willpower?
The officer will have willpower.
So if I remember correctly, with manufacturing, I only have to pay the willpower cost once, and then I can just always make that, right?
Not quite. There's steps to it. There's like you can manufacture a batch that's independent from your dice pool by spending willpower, or
Gotcha.
you can take a long time, spend some base willpower, and then you will just always have the thing.
So if I remember correctly, that is the one that we agreed that I had another free one, because you said I could start with 2, and I only started with 1, and you said we could figure that out later down the line. And it's later down the line.
You know, maybe I regret that, but you know, if I said that, I said that.
We can chat about this off session and see what we want to do about it.
All right, I'm fine with that. Okay, so Reggie moves up to middle management. Did you guys? That leaves the final docket on the night. Did you want to attempt the seance to get a hyperbolic time chamber up and running?
Yes. Thank you, Bob.
All right.
I can probably dig something out of the hold that'll help with that.
Okay.
I don't want to be a spoil sport, but I'm losing energy here. I might want to stop here.
Okay.
Okay, can we start the next session with that?
We can. All right.
Saying I don't want to be a spoil sport, but I'm getting tired here.
That's fine. We'll start with experience. First things first, everyone gets experience for showing up.
Yeah.
Second, who had the best bit of the night, or who was funniest?
Tom, I can't remember what he said, but something almost killed me.
The soda can.
That one.
Soda can
Yeah,
was
that's
pretty good.
Yep.
All right, that sounds like it goes to Tom.
Nice.
Who stayed in character best this session, you guys think?
I'm gonna give that to
Bob.
Bob.
Great.
Robert.
Okay.
Fine. Okay.
We were mostly together this session, so who do you think did the most useful thing this session?
That's a good question.
I am going to commend the crew of the Spirit of the Unknown for their sterling efforts in both destroying, repairing, and refloating the Spirit of the Unknown, as well as contributing to the defense of the town.
I was
Hey,
gonna
if
say Captain Dumond for breaking down the Mark II armor.
Hey, if we
Yes,
start
the Spirit
voting
of
for
the-
Skater Kid and giving Skater Kid points, can we start spending those points on Skater Kid?
Sure. Okay.
I'd vote for Skater Kid for sending all that info. Actually, no, Reggie for all the, staying under the radar and bringing us all that info. Make Reggie powerful.
I thought Reginald was already actually quite alarmingly powerful.
Yeah, but
He
like,
is.
imagine if we give him more points for like hyper charm or something.
You've never sent this man one silver ton, but he has lied in every conversation he's ever had.
He doesn't need silver tongue. That said, after this is manufactured,
His tongue
We'll
just
probably
is
get-
silver from all the drugs he does.
Reginald actually.
I'm voting Reggie
Oh wait, we're
for-
voting. Yeah, we're voting Reggie. Sorry, I thought we were talking about Ronnie for a second, but yeah.
I don't know why, but I keep getting Reginald confused with Blake.
I was actually thinking we were talking about Ronnie too, for some reason.
Ronnie isn't
It's because
Blake.
they both start with R.
It's because they have very similar
I know.
names, and I'm stupid for doing that.
So, Seth, I said Blake, not
I know,
Ronnie,
I know,
right?
no. I know.
Yeah.
I was saying that not in response to you, but in response to Sam. Sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I'm like, hold on a second. You know.
So it sounds like there's 2 votes for Captain Dumond. Is that
Yeah, let's just go to Mount.
All right.
Yeah.
Derek?
Well,
Well,
specifically 2 votes for the for the Spirit of the Unknown crew.
Captain Dumont owns them. So.
Okay, well, then I'm giving it to the crew. Crew now has 4 experience.
Feels like the strongest goddamn crew. All right.
I don't even know what I'm going to spend it on.
I put, by the way, Bob, so we remember, need to find Jerry and kill him. Amp.
Hey, you have a dowsing rod for an hour? You can use that to locate him.
Yeah. I'll put that as a note as well. Use dowsing rod.
And also tell him that we killed Terry.
Just before you kill him, so that his last moments are suffering. Wow, that was dark.
Yes.
Good. The darkness will consume us all.
Edgier than a garbage bag full of razor blades. Let's go.
Just because John Hannibal Hancock has to be the good guy, right, all the time, doesn't mean Amp has to be.
Hey, Sam, did you by chance open the DM I sent you?
I did.
Oh.
It's a fire fucking verse, my guy.
Sam, so I was I thought of a new idea for a character that I was telling Seth. Monologue. And I was thinking, I love the power idea for the first one. It's like, so I tell someone when we capture them, it's like, so I bet you're wondering how you got here. And then I do like have an actual flashback of how they got there.
That's a really strong post cog. I love it.
I have an idea that could go along with that. Filibuster. As long as you're talking, nobody else can do anything.
No one can use powers as long as I'm talking and monologuing about what we're planning to do.
So that is actually something that I sent him immediately after.
I really like this idea because I have a feeling like, I don't know, this is going to be a dangerous next 2 fights, so I'm worried like someone's going to die. But
Good.
That's an idea. That's my backup idea.
Let the filibuster flow through you.
Especially since you have like a really hard counter to be coming. Anti-minion power. Ugh.
Yeah.
I
cannot believe Xander is like Sam. The reason I didn't immediately just know that when you said it is because I honestly thought he was dead based on the version of him I told you.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. It would make sense, wouldn't it? There's an interesting thing I did with the names there. Like, we have Mr. President, we have Prime Minister Sinister, we have Propulsion, we have Repulsion.
Are we going to run into a Colonel Thermond then?
A Colonel Thermometer, actually.
Ooh.
If Xander is evil Avery, that's probably the rudest thing you've ever done to Avery.
That's saying something, too. By the way, isn't that one more question?
For which regard?
Voting.
Oh, shit, yeah. Who has the best opening line for the seance?
Spirits of past me, speak to me!
Okay. Not bad.
Hey, G-Slice, I saw a ghost next to this Ouija board.
Okay, that's up there.
Alright,
Oh wait, isn't the seance gonna have G-Slice in it?
Yes.
It is gonna have.
Oh my god. Sam, I forgot. When did I message you? I remember it being really fucking funny. Oh! I remembered what we were gonna do. Okay, I'll remind you real quick.
Hey, I have the stream open. Don't open it.
Okay. Well, we have some. Man. Seth, close your eyes. I'm gonna click it.
All right, I'll click off stream.
3, 2, 1.
That's pretty good, right?
All right. It's gonna be hard to give you a point if I'm the only one who knows it, though.
Oh no, because it's gonna happen next session.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, who else has who thinks they can beat Hey G Slice? I saw a ghost.
Okay, I'm struggling to try and work It's Your Boy into a eulogy, but I just can't get there.
Cheese Slice just has a how-to guide on how to like live life and stuff. Talks about responsibility and being an adult.
And in this moment, I would like to talk about your boy G Slice. Truly,
Yeah.
he was a guy that we knew.
We didn't want to know him, but we knew him.
Do the ding again. Oh, damn. Alright. That's pretty good. Yeah!
I need a
Okay.
breaking guitar string soundboard.
I need to
No, that was
look
just
some
the
stuff
spring
about
on my
Avery
mic
will
arm.
actually.
I stand by my statement.
I need to look up some stuff about how Avery will actually open this fucking seance.
Hey, Bob, you got any openers for the seance?
Fuck you, G Slice. I wish I broke your neck again.
Alright.
Wow.
Let's vote.
Dark and aggressive.
Wow.
Let's vote. Who has the best?
Oh, Mr. President's can be who's G Slice because he never ran into G Slice.
Ooh. Alright. We have 3 contenders today.
I actually feel like it should be up to Chris to decide who he thinks is the best for G Slice.
Oh God. What was everyone's again? God, you
Mine
might
was-
put me on the spot.
Mine was the one that made you scream. It was, "Hey G Slice, there's a ghost over here."
Oh, nice.
Mine was fuck you, G Slice. I wish I could break your neck again.
See, that's not really a way to open the seance. That's just a way to make G Slice start crying in hell.
No. See, G Slice would just snap his neck back though.
I want him to come here and prove me wrong.
He literally proved bear spray wrong like 8 times. I burned 8 base willpower for that.
Yes,
Sure.
bear spray doesn't do burning damage. Propulsion does. Burning makes you lose a couple dice.
I think that was the most violent bear spray has been in months. Just straight
It was
up.
probably pretty cathartic for him, honestly.
Maybe. Alright, Tom, how do you work your boy into a eulogy?
I can't get there. I honestly don't have anything for you. I really want to get there, but I just can't do it right now.
And
I'll
Derek?
give it to Seth.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No,
No, go ahead. Give it to Seth. Mine wasn't particularly good.
Alright, Seth gets the XP.
Cool.
Alright. Yeah. Any final thoughts on the session?
No, well, it was fun.
Cool.
Good information
On that
covered
note,
here.
I have homework to do, so ta.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
I am going to head off because I'm like 99% sure I need to head into the office tomorrow. I just don't know when. So
Peace out, Girl Scout.
All right, so I started making the baseline for monologue.
It's like your artifact is like a Polaroid camera. You take a picture, you shake it, go, yeah, that's you. I bet you're wondering how you got into this situation.
No, so
Not
his
filibuster. No, it's just all about monologuing.
his artifact is a lapel mic.
Oh, Sam, can I publish the Zeus thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Same to you, Tom. Can I publish that?
I really like that the idea that we can't keep a plan secret too, because monologue has to
Yes, you may.
monologue what he's doing.
What are these lines? Why are you drawing lines?
So that
feel
it's
like-
clear what the 2 different quotes are, because if they're published that close to each other, are the same post.
So I feel like these two powers alone would just be too hyper expensive. I don't know. Just filibuster and so I bet you're wondering how you got here. I feel like that's going to be expensive.
Sam, I think you can end stream now.
Oh shit! Right.
I asked a couple times.